Oh my goodness, guys, I am so late today. In fact, an hour ago, I looked at the clock and said, "Oh, I got almost 30 minutes, a little less, because I need to start it before time to stream to get everything rolling right." And I was tied up in other issues and just lost all track of time. Next thing I know, I looked up, it's like 15 after 2. My career. Oh, golly. So, as a result, I've been busy, guys. Don't pick on me too hard. Ugh, look at that. 9 over for yesterday. What a mess. I'm actually in the process of trying to take off a lot of weight. So I'm fasting. I can't blame it all on it. I think fasting, from what I've heard from others anyway, is it's not supposed to completely drain you. So maybe there's a bit of time it takes to get used to it. I don't know. But right now I'm on a plan of, so I eat 6 eggs on one day, and then I don't eat for the next 4 days, and then I eat 6 eggs again, and repeat the process. So eating every 5th day. Well, at the same time, I'm really because man, I don't do any physical stuff around the house, not like I should. So I've been trying to turn the dial up on that too and get stuff done. I went out and mowed this morning. Well, I was up early this morning, went out and mowed, and made it a point actually to make a bigger section than what I usually mow. I don't know, my back won't take it to mow the whole place. It's a push mower, by the way. So my back won't take it to mow the whole place. I can only be out there so long. And so I kind of have my sections that I do a little bit every time I go out. But today I expanded the section because I just wanted more exercise. And I was feeling it by the time I got to the end of it. I might have overdid it. I didn't expand it like double it. I went even beyond that. But it's good. I made it through it. So every expansion like that will mean the next time I can do more. But that really killed me. I would come in, I was winded. How honest do I want to be? I got nothing to hide. I've let myself get into a bad place through the depression. Before it, I will say this, before it, I wasn't in great shape anyway. I never really have been. But I was still functional. I could move around all right. In fact, my job was pretty physical. I worked for a telephone company and pulling cable and doing all kinds of physical work. It was indoor work. I wasn't outside on the lines, but it was like remodeling floors and such, pulling all the cable, and that's can be pretty physical. And then my life in a whirlwind, And I went into deep depression after that. And I was in a state for a long while there. Like a long while, like a couple years, where maybe even longer than that, where I was essentially committing suicide by food. Long, slow suicide, just eating and doing nothing else. This was after I was kind of forced out of my company because of the death jab they were trying to sell everybody. So that forced me into this state. Well, that forced me out. The world, my perfect storm, I would say, put me in a depression, and the likes I've never been through before. And I don't know, I just didn't have the tools to cope with it or whatever, and put myself in an even worse position. So now I'm trying to dig my way out of it. And like, I'm at the bottom. The only good thing I got going is I got my house. And even that's on the verge because I'm behind on property taxes. But, and I'm making no money right now. And it's not like I didn't try. Man, I put in so many applications. And I don't know. It's a different world than what it used to be. I could have got a job in a snap. And I have my own personal self-inflicted handicap of I'm too heavy to really do anything physical. And when I come over here and moved into this place, I really thought, well, I'll just pick up a job like that. I was used to that when I was younger. I didn't realize the depression thing I didn't know I was going to go through all that. And so coming out of it, I don't have the physical ability to be up if I'm on my feet for over an hour, my back is just screaming, and a serious like screaming, and it doesn't just, can't sit down and have it go away. So it will actually, but if I let it get too bad, try to force my way through, it will actually last a couple days. It's not like a normal, this is painful, but I'll get through it and sit down 15 minutes and I'm feeling a little better. It's not like that. And, you get older, you expect those things. I've always, for a long time, I won't say always, but for a long time, I've kind of had some lower back issues, but not bad. Usually I get on the teeter inversion bed, and that would straighten them out in the past. But I'm too heavy for that thing now. I'd probably break my neck if it snapped or something and dropped me on my head. So the work I have to do is to lose the weight. And in the meantime, try and find some income, and that's the reason I got online. I even tried online job searches, and I didn't have any luck with that. So here I am, working on, this is kind of fun, but maybe down the road, I kind of hope maybe I can firstly figure out what I'm doing enough to gain some subscribers. Right now, these early ones, I really don't expect anybody to watch. And so I'm just getting used to the talking to the camera. That end of it, getting more comfortable with it. When I first started trying that, it was really difficult. I'm kind of an introvert anyway. I don't know how this plays into people that are introverted. A lot of the people I watch actually turn out, they say the same thing, that they're introverts too, but for whatever reason, doing this kind of content creator work and stuff seems to be really good for them. So, and I've noticed that I'm enjoying this actually. It's my therapy. I get to put stuff out there, even though nobody's listening, to this point, it still feels like somebody's listening. And somebody could down the road, I suppose. Might eventually get 1 or 2 listeners. I doubt they listen to the whole show, but you know what? Yesterday I was on perfect timing. Let's take a practice swing and see how I do. Stupid mats. Yeah, it's a good thing I did that. You ever see them on a newscast or something have a bug in the... I don't think I've ever seen that. They must keep it pretty well controlled. Alright, I think I know where my timing's at, so let's give this a shot. Ooh, that was horribly slow. I don't know what I did there. Oh, come on, what the heck? So anyway, I got a late start, and the reason I was late was I decided to learn Lua. I'm running a Linux machine. I've fully switched over to Linux now, and I'm loving it. There's a lot to learn, but I'm really digging into... You know, I miss the old days of the command line. Like, I grew up with... well, first off, Apples, like Apple IIe, and... Man, I don't remember what the other ones were. We had them in our school. And back in those days, it was all command line. You could do a little bit of graphics programming, which I did using BASIC. I don't know what it is, why I liked it so much, but I always just loved the command line. Yeah, of course, after that, I eventually got a PC. I guess I got one myself. What was, I kind of ended up with the IBM. I don't remember what they were called. It was an 8088, I think. Personal PC. This is how you miss. This is how you get to be 9 over. Horrible. Anyway, yeah, I ended up with a personal PC. Oh, by the way, if this is the first video you ever watched me, I'm not really doing this for the golf. The golf is just something kind of entertaining in the background. Something for the screen. Mainly this is kind of for me like just a chatting channel. Get on here and talk about things I'm interested in. But anyway, I had an IBM personal PC, I think is what it was called. It was an 8088, so hadn't even got to like the XT or 286 or anything like that yet. And it was all command line, and I loved that. And eventually, I think maybe I got a 386. And then all the various ones followed, 486 and all that. But all the stuff, it was back, the first one I got was using like Windows 3.11. So it didn't boot into Windows, it actually booted into DOS, and then you would actually run Windows. And I actually preferred that, and a lot of people did at the time. I don't know, people now would probably see it as cumbersome. But I still kind of like the idea of that, actually. But I've always been one to be more about, you really should know the underpinnings of anything that you depend on, so you can fix it if something goes wrong and not depend on somebody else. As best you can, anyway. Now, it kind of falls through with a lot of the tech stuff because, well, back in that day, you'd pull apart your machine and upgrade it. Man, all that stuff was a blast. I was really in that community for a long time. I say community, I wasn't communities like nowadays. The internet wasn't around yet, so yeah. I don't even really know. I don't remember how I got my knowledge on stuff. I think it was just trial and error. Read the manuals and hope for the best. I remember spending a lot of time trying to figure out, why is this not working? Why is that not working? Anyway, so Linux is to me, it's like a throwback thing, and I really like it. Because they didn't try to hide the command line stuff from you. Now, it is, most distributions now come up with a graphical interface for the modern user, but you can still easily get to the command line. I mean, it's just like the Linux users, that's like core functionality. To most of them nowadays. I don't know if there'll ever be a day when that's not the case, but the user base is expanding, and it might come a point there might come a point where the majority of users don't use terminals and command line and all that. But I'm kind of throwing myself into it. I like command line. I've set up my own servers here at the house, and like log into them and do things, just experimenting, changing things around. And just having a lot of fun in that regard. But all these programs, well, first off, if you're logging into a server, when you set up a server, I guess even back before I said first off, if you set up, say, a web server or whatever kind of server on a remote machine that you're generally not going to be going and sitting down at and doing work on it. In fact, my machines don't even have monitors hooked up to them. After I set them up, I took the monitor off. And what you do is from like your user machine, where you log into it from there. And now you can set up graphical servers and do it across the internet. And I have not done that, but I suspect that sending the whole desktop across the interface, maybe it wouldn't be too bad but it seems to me like it would just be a slow process across the network. And anyway, so I'm trying to learn as many terminal commands, terminal software, as much of that as I can, and all of like Vim and NeoVim and how to get in and basically though NeoVim is like just core to feed everything, because all your configuration on Linux is done. There's files out there. So you log in, you go to that file, open it up, edit the file to do whatever you want it to do, and save it, and then it's configured. So there's various editors out there, and there's easier ones. I'm into coding a little bit too, but I play with it. I'm not a serious coder or anything. And Vim has always had a reputation of, if you know it, it's super efficient. You can get a lot done really fast. But the problem is it's a very steep learning curve. It's not like your standard easy to use text editor, because it's built for speed. And I should say, for those that, if it was their first text editor ever, I guarantee those guys, to them it's easy to use, and they probably burn through any editing like nobody's business. The idea of it is to get away from the mouse, move around all over the place in the file without constantly having to reach for the mouse. And that may sound strange to some people, because it's like, well, how much time does that take? But it really does. Once you start understanding all these like incremental seconds, it's not even understanding it. It's just once you start getting some of the keystrokes down, you start realizing, especially when you jump back to the graphical interface, suddenly you're looking for a keystroke to do something where you just tap a key rather than reaching over and having to drag around and all that. It's almost like if your grocery store was 2 blocks away and there was a nice, pretty path to the grocery store, but it took you out of your way like a block, or a block. We'll say the store's 3 blocks away. The nice, pretty path takes you out of the way 2 blocks to get there. And the straight to it path is just straight to it, 3 blocks. But so NeoVim is the straight to it path. In my analogy, I would say for the straight path, you have to go through a gate, though, that requires you to do a lot of learning to unlock it. But once you unlock it, you can take the straight path there, and it's a lot faster than having to go the extra ways. So I'm learning to configure all these files to set up different things, and one of the things that I've for Vim is, or NeoVim is what I use. I just call it Vim, just simplify it. Is its configuration is done or can be done with Lua. You can do it either way, and Lua is a programming language. And I keep hearing about Lua, and Lua's used for this, and Lua's used for that. And I finally decided, man, if I'm gonna do this, and I like to play with programming languages anyway, I need to learn Lua. So this morning I sat down and started in depth of that. I brought out my tutor, ChatGPT, and if you haven't done that, man, it is freaking miraculous. Now, there's some people, a lot of people that are in the tech community that really hate the AI stuff. And I don't know where I'm at on it for sure, really. I'm kind of divided, I guess. But, because I can see the pluses and minuses of it. And some people will say, well, if you're using, let's try there. They'll say you're not doing the hard work you need to do to really learn something. And I understand that. Yeah. Nothing like beating your head against the wall for 2 hours to realize you had a comma in the wrong place or something. You won't forget it next time. But at the same time, mainly I think what they're talking about is people just going in and have ChatGPT generate code for you, and then cut and pasting the code out of it. And I'm not doing any of that, actually, for 2 reasons. InVim, like I say, is a project in itself because of all the key. There's all these, they call them motions. Like to delete a line, you hit DD. Or if you're instead of reaching for the arrow keys to move your cursor around, you use the, what are they? I just know them by fingers now. H, J, K, and L. They move you left, right, up, and down. Not in that order. But, so say I wanted to move down 10 lines. Normally, you might reach over and put the mouse down, bring the cursor down on another program. And you still can do that on NVIM, but you're not pushing yourself to learn it when you do that. And so to do it, if you're trying to really be an NVIM user, using it for the reason it was created, you're going to, J is the down key, so you would hit, and I said, what did I say, 10 lines, you want to move 10 lines down, well, you type 10 on your number keys and then hit J, and the cursor just drops down. And everything's like that. I mean, it's just a lot of things where you can go direct what you want to do. If you want to go to the 5th line of the sentence and you're at the beginning of the sentence, you would hit 5 W, and that takes you over 5 words. Or if you wanted to go backwards 5, you'd hit 5 and B to go backwards. So I'm trying to school myself in that. And this reason I got off on a tangent there is ChatGPT and learning from ChatGPT. I do what I can inside of the window. Well, first off, I started to do YouTube videos to learn, which is what I've always done in the past. I pulled up some tutorials and started through that, but that has always been, it's really good because there's always somebody out there explaining things, but finding somebody at the right pace. And this is going to sound bad, but with an accent you can understand. Some of those guys out there, I'm sure they do good content, but I just can't hang with them. I'm trying to learn the whatever it is that I'm trying to learn. And when I'm having to like decipher what they're saying, it's like, okay, next. Those Indian guys, man, they're putting out the content though. I wonder if an Indian person can understand another Indian person who has a really strong accent better than say me. Like I've known Indian people and talked to them, and usually they have a slight accent, but some of the accents are just so thick. It's like you can tell they're not, or they're fairly new to English. But I wonder if another Indian person speaks. What does they speak? Is it Farsi? Is that what it's called? Whatever they speak. I wonder if they can understand that through the English through that thick accent better than a natural speaking American. Kind of makes me curious. So I got started on that this morning. ChatGPT. And actually, here's another thing about ChatGPT that I really like. I just got tired of searching for a good tutorial on YouTube, and I'd done this before, and it worked really well. Thought, oh, ChatGPT's out there. So I asked it to make me a lesson plan to learn Lua. And man, lesson plan done. There it is. I started working my way through it. And then, because in ChatGPT, the normal ChatGPT site, it's they only allow you so many times before it rolls back to the older version of the AI, which is still pretty good. I don't know that it's really ever caused me any problems, but just in my mind I feel like, maybe it's not as good. So I open up another window, go into other AI sites. There's one called Poe that like goes through a bunch of different AI sites and picks one out, I guess, based on what your question is, and sends you to it. And so I pull that up on another screen. Plus, if I have my lesson plan in one screen on ChatGPT, I really don't want to keep scrolling up and down through it. I want to stay kind of the spot I'm in. So then I use the other window inside of each part of the lesson when I come to code where I really don't understand and there wasn't a good enough explanation in the lesson plan. Well, I jump over to that other AI and ask it more details. And and I really break it down. To me, there's no cutting and pasting. I really want to know this stuff, so like in Lua today, I got to a part where it's talking about error handling, and it gives you a snippet of code there with several commands in it. And most of it I understood, but I really didn't understand how it was all going together. And I wanted to break it down to its base parts, and that was good because I was able to. There's a function called pcall that lets you run a function inside of it and returns the error if it errored out or not, and you can customize a return message. But I really didn't know how it works. I come from the world of C and these other languages that are like, I guess you would call them more user friendly. Or there's not as much syntax to stay on top of. It's almost more difficult to me because I always feel like I'm missing, like I'm leaving something out because there's so much less to type. And, oh, stop. Ooh, that was close. Giving you some dead air there. That's what they would call it in radio. That's the reason I got the golf game though, to fill in the dead air spots. Ow. My putting is crap. I cannot read the break for anything. But that's what I got tangled up in today before I started the stream. In fact, it was that exact scenario. I was like digging into, I really wanted it broken down to base level so I really understood what each little piece was doing. And yeah, I'm sure if you've ever done anything like that before, you know how that is. It's like you become lost in the process. You don't know where the hands on the clock are. But it's fun. And hopefully by the end of it, not only will I be able to run through my configuration files and understand them a little better. That's the reason I need to learn Lua, because I did cheat on that part. I watched a YouTube video on how to configure NVIM, and you can configure it in a way to make it much more like that. Like one of the higher end code editors. And I went through that deal and just kind of copied what this guy, he told you how to set it all up. And all these different files. And there was a lot of file editing and a lot of just copying what he was doing. And I really, when it come to all the Lua stuff he was putting in, I really didn't understand it. To me, that was just cut and paste. And I really don't like doing that because I'm like, if I ever have to come in and make a change, I have no idea what I'm changing. So that was another incentive for me to learn Lua. Really, that was the big incentive. But after learning a little bit about it on YouTube, just watching some like very beginning stuff describing it. It's like, man, this might be a good language for me to know just for doing my own stuff here on my Linux and my playing around. Man, what's with the bugs today? That'll work. More comfortable seat for my chair. You know what it is? I need to lose some weight, and then the seat would become more comfortable, I think. So any other Lua programmers out there? Anybody that knows it or played with it? Just got a message, but I don't know what. Looks like it might be a. Well, I was kind of surprised actually. They were saying that you can do game programming with it. They say at least part of Apache's done in it. I don't know if the whole thing. All those, they just mentioned stuff that used it in World of Warcraft. Used it. Apache server used it. I don't know, there's some others on there. I don't remember them all, but. I thought, alright, let me. Well, I already decided I was going to learn it anyway, but that just gave me more incentive. I have, for the longest time, on Linux, because I played with, learned C++, and I'm not a great C++ programmer by any means. Any of these languages I talk about, don't take it as me being great in any of them. I just kind of dink around with them, but C++ I studied pretty hard for a long time, and to the point where I was, I was pretty adept with understanding. Oh dang, that would have made a good short clip if it would have went in. Yeah, I got to where I was pretty adept with pointers, all the hard stuff, at least at the base language level. Now the library, I never did get into the libraries and all that stuff. But I always wish there was a way to just simply program graphically to somehow get to use your backend programming with C, but use it to control something graphical rather than the just a terminal. And but I never found anything. I haven't searched for a long time now, so maybe there is some way to do that now. Last time I'd searched, it was a process of using OpenGL. I think that was it, OpenGL. And that was no simple task. Actually, it involved a whole bunch of stuff that I really didn't want to get into at the time. A lot of years ago. Say maybe it's improved. See, I was thinking back in the days when when I used to do some graphical programming on Apple with Basic, it wasn't such a you could do simple stuff pretty easy. Now, it was really rudimentary compared to what we can do now, but I was looking for something like that. Maybe Lua, like you say, I'm learning it for other reasons anyway, configuration reasons, but maybe it'll give me a better door into that. You watch this show, you learn how to miss a putt. 13 over. I am going to get cut. Yeah, projected cut is 7. Didn't even, I got so lost in that today. I didn't even go look for other subjects to talk about. Like I said, I looked up, I'm like, oh crap. I'm supposed to be online. And then to top it off, I had technical difficulties. For some reason, my OBS doesn't want to remember my settings for my screen capture and my webcam. But the screen capture has been going pretty good. Interestingly enough, I was having some real issues with it. But I think it was, I had it plugged into my hub, and I think it was overpowering my hub, causing it to time out now and then. But I haven't had any screen freezing for a long time. Yeah, I feel so beat today. That doing a larger section of the lawn just completely freaking drained me. Even on the programming stuff that I really enjoy doing that. But getting started on it was rough. I had to sit back and just take it easy for a bit. drink my coffee. Coffee don't even seem to be keeping me awake now. I don't even like coffee, but because I've been doing the fasting thing, it is very helpful in uh, keeping your hunger pangs in check. Ah, man. I'm playing like crap today. That's a good indication of how tired I am. Can't perform under these conditions. Off the other side. I missed that. Yeah, well, that would have been a good shot for a thumbnail. Downhill. Still off the other side. And even off the fringe. Hadn't been a lot in the news nowadays anyway, but election stuff. I mentioned yesterday, it's kind of like everybody's just hanging on the edge. Nobody knows how it's gonna play out. Everybody is pretty much of the opinion whoever wins, it's gonna be a mess afterwards. Because neither side, both sides have lost all trust with the other. Thank you, media. Truth has been thrown out the window. Everybody, there seems to be this feeling in the air. Everybody's just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Wonder where that saying comes from. Waiting for the other shoe to drop. Sometimes I can kind of have an idea where something like that might come from. But in that case, I really have no idea. Sounds like you're talking about something from the perspective of a cockroach. Waiting for that other foot to come down and try and crush me. That was a splasher. I'm gonna be all tin cup here and try the same shot again. Oh, that was a good bounce. I don't think I've had a good putt all day. From any distance. Well, guys, I'm not gonna keep you around here for the after show. I know I got cut, for sure. Yeah. It's kind of funny, I switched controllers yesterday just because I was having controller connection issues. Wasn't really any reason. I like the other one just as well, but for whatever reason with this controller I switched to, my timing is like dead on now. Or when I do it right, I can actually hit the straight up and down on the timing. And since I've done that, well, my playing has went to crap. But that could be I'm just tired. Most of my mistakes on that was putting mistakes. But I think that's going to be it for today because I am shot. I might even take a nap this afternoon. All right, guys. Well, you have a good day. Catch you later.